to some decks, to some aggro decks that you don't want to see, like Darius or Annie. I wouldn't want that, so I wouldn't run Arena's Greatest. But let's see. Oh, and there it is, the first Poro. Meanwhile, there was no turn one from Riftbound number 1.
Okay. Decides to just develop the Kaiser nice and early. Gets those potential draw triggers as early as his turn 3. Accelerate does give them both 1 point. It looks like both of these players pointed out, hey, we should probably be at 1 point to start the match, and that they are. This Poro might very well make it 2 points. If you're this Kaiser, are we leaning towards the Dreaming Tree just to do things like... Actually, the only thing you have from Kaiser is like a retreat, right? Or what else can you use to benefit from the Dreaming Tree? I can't remember.
It's mostly used for the stupefy. You can stupefy your own unit, and for 1 mana you draw 2. Imagine that you've got the Delve in the past that is 4 mana draw 2.
And after 5 rounds, it looks like these guys are a little bit tired because he went ahead and played his Legend out to the base. Of course, he meant to do his champion unit, Kaiser the Survivor, but of course, Daughter of the Void making her very first
He's trying to realize what's happening. Is like, oh, there's something wrong with my case.
Oh, this is a first ever. I'm sure they'll figure it out. I mean, Kaiser is a Kaiser at the end of the day. We know what the ability is. It's just kind of funny that we're seeing it from the Legend rather than the champion. There we go.
Drink or play, guys. Choose your battle.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool if the Legend could go ahead and conquer stuff, but then that gets super complicated. Poro gonna be going into the Arena's Greatest, gonna be conquering herself up to 2 points apiece. Oh, but it did get Hextech Ray, so bringing that, never mind not getting the 2 points. The Kaiser's still at the ready, able to go into the Arena's Greatest, but Void Seeker onto the opposing Kaiser. A retreat will be played out just to bring it back and channel Rune. Retreat over and over is such a good card. I can't believe it doesn't cost any power, right?
Yeah, I mean, on the other end, you're not like... You might be saving a card, but you still have to play everything. The thing is, retreat on the Dreaming Tree is what makes it so powerful, and that's why we're saying this battlefield so much. It's like... And for one, then you channel Rune and you draw, and that makes it so much stronger. That changes everything, but yeah. I think the part where retreat is really strong is that there's no reaction that deals damages or stuff like so, and because of it, you cannot prevent the retreat from happening. All right, we're getting okay. It's Case Army, guys.
Yeah, the Kaiser Army. We saw the Kaiser Legend on the base, kind of jokingly, but now the Kaiser Army, as you said, 2 of these champion units getting brought out to the base from Riftbound number 1. Of course, there's an opposing one already on the Dreaming Tree. That's a lot of potential draw power coming from Riftbound number 1. If he's able to get off something like a Void Seeker onto the Kaiser on the Dreaming Tree, a double conquer, double draw will be very powerful turn for Riftbound number 1. So I'm willing to bet if they are able to clear this effectively, like something like we mentioned, that Void Seeker, this could be a very strong follow-up turn for Riftbound number 1. So he's setting it up well. I like what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, but his opponents just drew 3 cards in a row. And there might be a Void Seeker or a Smokescreen in there.
Yeah, true. Oh, speak of the devil, even crazier of a card. It will be Falling Star, gonna double both three damage triggers onto a single Kaiser. So most likely doesn't have another Falling Star, but I wouldn't really play 2 Falling Stars in the same turn. That's so much tempo loss in terms of runes, right? That's 3 runes back you go. So yeah, I can see just
that would mean
Star.
his hand is dead already. Like, I think if you had like 2 Void Seeker, you would have kept it, because you almost never want to Falling Star a 4-might unit, because it's just the least efficient thing you can do, basically. but yeah, still a good pick right now on the Kai'Sa, down to only 1 unit.
Yeah, it's not terrible. You kind of just had to do what you had to do. You had no other spells to try to reach that back line of the other Kai'Sa, so just had to get it out there. Now just one single unit for Riftbound number 1's Kai'Sa. So thinking about which way am I going, I have things like Cleave most likely in hand. Looking at the hand, there's 2, 4, 6, 7 total cards. So you are able to try to conquer one, but to your point, as you mentioned last turn, there's definitely a Void Seeker in both of these players' hands. So just having 4 might, it's right in that threshold of being in the danger zone. Of course, with Cleave, you will get out, but what it means is you're going to trade. So Cleave onto the Darius instead to try to get out. No, okay.
No,
Cleave
yeah,
onto
no.
the
That was
Kai'Sa.
like, yeah.
Mhm.
And now you can remove both. You can still get smoke screened, which would cost a run because the Kai'Sa is already tapped. But see, that would do some damage.
Okay, so testing the waters first with Kai'Sa. Is FRDU going to be deploying any spells? It is going to be that Void Seeker, so 4 total damage, so about 3 more damage left to be done, which is enough for that 4 hopeful to get done. Unless there's such thing like a Cleave, that would get it a bit out the range, because you effectively go down to like 6 might, because 7 plus the 3, 4 damage down to around 6. So you do get out of the range of 4, but do you want to use the Cleave? And it looks like the answer is no. So just a nice even trade, no conquers. Oh.
Oh.
Wow, that's a good turn.
A cheeky one. Yeah, and now you basically just wasted the Void Seeker from your opponent.
Yeah, I love it.
Wow.
It's not a reaction speed spell, but ended up working pretty much similar to how a reaction speed spells, because the action went first and then it did the damage, but before the final combat damage was resolved, you're able to get off, but doesn't actually conquer because of the Hextech Ray. So back to just 2 or 1, 2, 2, 2.
And now, do you want to go? Do you risk the smoke screen?
There is 2 runes at the ready. Is there a smoke screen? And there's not. So Darius will be getting that point. So up to 3.
I would not have done it. I would not have had the balls to risk the smoke screen, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's scary. It's always scary when we're going up against a Kai'Sa, but the hopeful backed up with something like a Cleave. So up to 7 total might on the Dreaming Tree. I see Riftbound number 1 has a Hextech Ray. I was going to say just has 1 rune at the ready, but now with the Hextech Ray, bringing that down. So it looks like a nice trade, unless, like you said, is there going to be a follow-up action smoke screen? Thinking about it, no, goes for the Cleave, but I think that's still going to be a trade, right? Because 7, you go back to 4 plus 3. Is it out the range? It looks like it is.
No. Yeah, because that's 8 to 10. Yeah. That's 5 plus 3, and he's got 2 cleaves, so that's 10.
Yeah, and I hope FR remembered to draw off the Dreaming Tree, because he definitely cleaved while he was on the battlefield. I didn't catch if he drew his card. I hope he definitely did. I hope he did not forget, but the Void Seeker followed up, so no one's holding any battlefield so far. These guys are going toe-to-toe. Let's see, I believe that's 5 runes. Thinking about something like a Darius potentially getting played out here.
Yeah, Darius Kai'Sa.
Either that or the Kai'Sa, like you mentioned. Let's see what he plays out.
Yeah, it was more likely because already 2 Kai'Sas are gone, and not all Kai'Sa's decks run 3 Kai'Sa. Darius is probably the best champion, so this is the most run champion. Whenever you can play it, you play it. Kai'Sa is sometimes is only a one-off in those Kai'Sa deck, depending on like what you want to play.
Yeah, I feel like you could never go wrong in Kai'Sa running 3 Dariuses or in any Fury deck. But Watcher, another staple in these Kai'Sa decks, gonna be challenging in on the Darius on that Dreaming Tree should be enough. I don't see enough runes. Of course, something like a smoke screen, but that won't even be enough. The Watcher goes down to just 3 mice,
No.
so letting that Darius go, bringing me up to 5. I must have missed a couple there. Yeah, because 5 to 4 looks like FR. Yeah, I think I missed a point or two there. Oh, back
Right,
to
Counter
back,
Watcher.
right?
Screen is available. Still.
That would even things out. Looks like FR thinking about it. Goes for the Hextech Ray again. Pretty much doing the same thing, unless there is going to be a smoke screen on the side of Riftbound number 1, and he's playing perfectly, knowing what to anticipate and reacting accordingly. So bringing down the opposing Watcher, conquering a point. Now it's 5 to 5. This Kaiser mirror match is looking exactly like a mirror match tends to look like. Both of these players having very similar cards, Watcher v Watcher, and no one taking full control of the entire game. So far leaning slightly towards Riftbound since he has the battlefield control, but now it's time for FR to respond. Does he have perhaps another Watcher or the good old Darius combo we've seen time again? It looks like it's a number 3 Watcher. What's going on? Watcher,
Here we go.
Watcher, Watcher. 3 turns in a row.
So watch a dance.
Watcher dance indeed.
Watch a tango. Watch a salsa. Anything.
All of it combined with all these Watchers. It would blow my mind if there's another
there it
fourth one. That's
is.
enough runes. Is Riftbound number 1 gonna go for it? Because that is a Watcher party if he if he decides to go for it. I don't think I've seen this many Watchers played so consecutively before.
I've had that one as my game, but yeah, that's pretty rare. And there it is.
Wow, 4 Watchers back to back. These guys are insane. I mean, you have to do what you got to do. The opposing Kaiser's completely tapped out, so it's a free conquer. Going up to himself, going up to 6 points. So 6 to 6 is what these players are at.
Oh.
Final 2 points, and oh, you're right. That should be enough because there's no runes for that Raven Bloom.
Can you say Watcher number 3?
Yeah, we will see. I
that would be
highly
5,
doubt it to
but-
draw all 3 Watchers with how many cards are left. All right, about 50% of the deck has been drawn, so not completely out of the ordinary, but highly unlikely. But let's see. I mean, there's many other accelerated units, things like Sprite Mother, which Kaiser tends to not really run, so I'm more likely leaning towards those Darius champions we've seen over and over from these Kaiser players. And that does get you to 7th. That's an even trade. Maybe a Darius with a Stupefy combo could be an effective way of getting rid of the Watcher on the
Yeah,
Dreaming Tree.
Darius Stupefy, Darius Cleave, Darius. And else he could just play a Mega Mech and hope that the last battlefield is not conquered. I don't know.
You're starting with 2. It looks like a potential Falling Star into a Stupefy to bring that guy down to 6, and then the Falling Star being enough with a total of 6 damage. Let's see. So he started with the Falling Stars. So 6 damage
Darius
on that Watcher. This is interesting. Okay. Okay, he did it because he needed to trigger Darius
now is the
first. Yeah.
Okay, it's the Cray. Sure, why not?
Yeah, and that was perfect sequencing. You guys have to keep in mind, Darius only gets readied if it's the 2nd turn. It doesn't trigger like Legion abilities. If he would have played Hextech Ray first, Darius wouldn't have come in ready. So perfect execution from the side of FR, knowing when to play Darius out, then following up with the Hextech Ray, going ahead and going up to that final checkmate point, a 7 to 6. It wasn't another Watcher, but let's see if Riftbound can respond with a Darius of his own. This is really, really close game.
Oh, that's That smells like trying to fish for something. Or it could be a Darius actually.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
he
you
already
can
played two.
see
Yeah,
he
already
didn't
played
have
two.
any
Yeah.
accelerated units, so that Dreaming Tree hold is gonna bring FR up to that 8th final point. Well done, well done. So FR gonna be going up 1 game against Riftbound number 1. Want to use all their attack abilities, and for regarding Darius, you want to be able to recycle and recur that Darius ability as many times as possible. So you're so right. Reaver's Row is such a good battlefield, but it takes a certain amount of units to fully make use of that ability for sure.
And that's another dead start for Riftbound number 1.
Oh yeah, he didn't
okay,
play out
that's-
a turn 1, I just realized, but instead going up
Yeah,
for
that's the
Kaiser
second time in a
champ.
row. And last time his opponent could not play the Poro on turn 1 because he was scared of the Kesa. Now he can just okay. I was gonna say he can just invest the reverse row, but oh no, the Kesa will be accelerated.
Almost
Not
played out the
accelerated.
legend again. Goes for the Kaiser survival now, kind of just piggybacking off the same play Riftbound number 1 did. Throwing it back over to him. Let's see what he has to work with now. It looks like a potential falling stars, and it is. Who does he want to target? Yordle might be the play, unless he wants to double up on that backline base card.
And if he has a super fine hand, that's fine. Yeah.
There's no such thing as the 5s. There's no such thing as on guards 4 unless there's a retreat.
That's a retreat.
One way
Yeah,
to
that's
deal
a
with it.
retreat. But then why wasn't the Kesa accelerated? That's what I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. If he had planned the retreat, he could have set that up, but perhaps just preserving a rune. Just wanting to keep that rune advantage.
You're probably right. And there's one thing. See, here there could have been a retreat funny counter thingy because so say he plays the Kesa on the battlefield and then you falling star it, and then you start by using Exec Ray to finish it. Alright? And it's gonna retreat the Kesa, but then you stupefy the Kesa over the retreat because this is a reaction, so you can do it. Then the Kesa still dies and does not get hit by the retreat spell.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that would have been some very, very intricate execution if that played out, because Stupefy is a reaction, retreat is an action, right? Or is it a reaction? No, it's a reaction. So wouldn't it still happen?
It's a reaction. No, because the Stupefy is before on the chain, so it happens before. That's why you play the Exec Ray first, so in order to bait the retreat, and then you can play it.
I see. Okay.
So that's a really cheeky, weird thing, but I already thought about that. It's pretty funny interaction because I was thinking, there's not really any counter to that retreat thingy, and I'm like, oh yeah, that can happen. That can be a counter. So yeah.
That is right. So the Yordle gonna be readying the Darius, challenging the Kaiser on Reaver's Row. Never ideal, because all Riftbound number 1 has to do is go ahead and trigger the Reaver's Row ability, retreat the Kaiser, have it available for Targon's Peak the following turn, because FR pretty much forced to completely tap out. So rather free turn without having to worry about any kind of counter spells. Speaking of counterplay, that Hextech Ray gonna be even trade on that battlefield.
So the trade will be taken. All right. I did not expect that. The reason why you would do this is that you're feeling I have more draw, I think, and on the long run I will win anyway. And you're just scared of the tempo that the Darius is bringing. I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad of a play. I think it was more so Just really not letting FR gain any points on the board, just trying to separate the difference from 1 to 3. So I can see where he's thinking. He's just trying to get ahead, trying to really raise up that point total as high as he can before his opponent does, of course. But now it's FR's turn to kind of get things ready. We saw one Darius. Potentially there is so many cards in that hand. 2, 4, 6, 7 total cards. So there's more likely going to be another Darius sooner or later. Is it ideal? So 5 runes. It is going to be that secondary Darius. Comes in tap. One more card to play and is going to be triggering his ability. Where do you want to send it though? Do you send it to Targon's Peak, or are you scared of something like a Hex Ray we saw before?
No, I would send it to Reverse Rule no matter what. You want to keep that Darius alive, especially right now. You're getting out-tempoed by your opponent. But you've got more runes. On the long run, you're in a good position. So yeah, okay. Yeah, but okay. So now what do you do?
Yeah, now it seems like an obvious choice. Send Darius into the Reaver's Row, protect it, but instead, interesting decision.
Yeah, no, that's why. Yeah, you want to force the trade, and now maybe you're happy with the trade actually.
I see. So you trade because you have the Yordle to follow up to conquer, right?
Yeah, and you're just like, okay, I have more runes than my opponent. I have more cards in hand, and I'm going to, if I just keep the board clean, it will all be fine. Oh, and yeah, I mean, especially if you get a cleave in hand, and the Yordle will conquer. And right now, yeah, Riftbound #1 in a really tricky situation because he's getting outpaced completely in terms of rune advantage. The time warp is available next turn.
Oh, you're so right. That won't be the winning play outright, since you're going to go up to 5. Time warp will bring you up to 7, so still missing that final point. But Riftbound #1 trying to get back into this game, doesn't have any accelerated units, decides to just go for a simple Raven Balloon and Sentry onto the base, passes it back, so 2 points. Massive tempo swing, had no reaction, nothing to be said on the side of Riftbound #1's turn, so throwing it back. And man, 5 just seems so much closer to 8, of course. Going to be retreating that Darius, keeping him nice and safe, but he could... But unnecessary because he already scored both points. So I'm willing to bet FR probably just wants to retreat all his units. Of course, Reaver Row does that for him. But why even risk it for things like Hextech or Void Seeker? Might as well just retreat it now. Keep him nice and safe for a follow-up attack turn later on. But okay, maybe he just wants to try to hold Reaver's Row. This is interesting.
Okay. Yeah, you're just giving the free Void Seeker basically.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, come hit me. Okay. Will this go through?
Yeah, looks like FR is thinking about it because it didn't immediately gain a point. So he's saying, do I want to go ahead and let you draw a card but neglect you a point? And the answer is like, okay, you can have the point. I'll take care of the Raven Bloom. So gonna be playing the Raven Blue. So on attack, you get +3 plus the 1 from its ability. So up to 6. Definitely more than enough to take down the 4. But now it's a very simple choice, it feels like, for FR. Just go ahead and trigger Reaver's Row, retreat the Noxious Hopeful, and now you have so many units to work with on your following turn. Things are looking very, very good for FR, if I do say so myself.
Yeah. He's in a wonderful situation. You'll have 10 runes next turn.
Oh, doesn't decide to trigger. He wants to trade. He doesn't want Kaiser to get any type of points.
Yeah, and there it is. First, that was well played from the case. Not using it right from the get-go. And now,
I think that Hextech Ray gets it done because you had 4 damage from the Void Seeker and then 3 damage, equaling that total might the Raven had of 7.
exactly.
So still not letting Kaiser score any points. So she's going to sit pretty at 4 points. Now just going to decide to spam out the board, ready the 2 from Targon's Peak. But this turn should be pretty fortunate for FR. Has many units to work with. Not too many, but 3 units is more than enough. Sends the Kaiser for the draw first. You always want to see all the full information first. Hex Ray, perhaps follow that up with a Stupefy. 2 Hex Rays, that's all 3. And Leroy, no cards in hand for Riftbound number 1. This is never a position you want to be in Riftbound.
That's GG. I'm sorry to say it, but that's GG.
It does sting a little bit. You never want to be in position.
You don't prevent anything with that double X-ray because the 2 points are will still be marked, and there's no way you can recap next turn unless you got like Watcher, Icathian Rain, stuff like so. And you're also paying for no time warp, but yeah, it's whatever.
I mean, if there's a time warp here, that would win the game, of course. Yordle into Reaver's Row, you go up to 7. You have more than enough rooms to get that time warp off. I just can't. I mean, this is our first time seeing FR on stream, so we have no idea what kind of build. I mean, most Kaisers tend to run at least a single time warp.
There was a mistake made. Oh no, because there's no X-Tech Ray, but like, you should have gone before with the, you should have gone before with the Yordle, because the Darius gives a draw that might be an X-Tech Ray that prevents the Yordle from capping the reverse row.
True. But
so
he's all out
because
all 3 were used already.
Yeah,
so maybe
all 3 were
knew.
used, so yeah. That's what I've thought about after, like, but still interesting to think about this kind of order. Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah, GG.
It looks that way, but I agree with you. The sequencing is so important in games like Riftbound, so I like where your head's at. You did want to go in for Yordle in case your opponent did have cards. In this specific situation, did not matter too much. The Yordle will go down. It looks like it's the 3rd Watcher coming out from Riftbound.
Why wasn't the Watcher used before?
Would it have traded? Well, no, he would have just triggered Reaver's Row. But yeah, you missed 1 point, right, for not playing Watcher first, unless he drew into it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It was GG anyway, but maybe it was just triggered. I knew it was over anyway.
Yeah, looks like FR with a swift 2-0.